Lisa had always prided herself on being independent. She made her own decisions, trusted her instincts, and never let fear dictate her choices. When her husband Daniel warned her about the old bridge on Willow Creek, she had laughed. "It's just an old superstition," she said, rolling her eyes as she grabbed her coat. "People in this town love their ghost stories." Daniel, usually easygoing, had remained serious. "It's not just a story, Lisa. That bridge hasn't been maintained in years. After the accident, the town stopped funding repairs. It's not safe anymore." Lisa sighed, adjusting her purse over her shoulder. "I drive past it all the time, Daniel. It looks fine." "That doesn't mean it is," he insisted. "Just promise me you won't take that route, especially not when it's raining." She had smiled, pressing a quick kiss to his cheek. "I'll be fine." That night, a storm swept through the town, rattling windows and soaking the streets in heavy sheets of rain. Lisa stayed late at the office, caught up in paperwork, and by the time she stepped outside, the sky was a churning mass of black clouds, flashes of lightning streaking across the horizon. She hurried to her car, the cold rain drenching her in seconds. The drive home was slow, the windshield wipers struggling to keep up. As she neared the usual road to their house, she saw flashing hazard lights ahead. A fallen tree lay sprawled across the road, massive branches blocking the way. Lisa groaned in frustration, gripping the steering wheel. The only other route was the old bridge. She hesitated for a moment, Daniel's voice whispering in the back of her mind. But she was tired, drenched, and eager to be home. With a deep breath, she turned the car around and took the alternate path. The road leading to the bridge was darker than she remembered, the trees arching over it like skeletal fingers. The rain made the pavement slick, and she kept her hands tight on the wheel. As she approached the bridge, lightning illuminated its decaying wooden frame. Water rushed violently below, swollen from the storm. Lisa slowed down, her heart thudding. The bridge looked worse than she had expected. The wood was dark and warped, some planks slightly lifted at the edges. A rusted sign leaned at an awkward angle near the entrance, the words barely visible in the downpour. "Unsafe. Do not cross." She clenched her jaw. She had driven this way before, years ago. It had held up then. She was in a modern SUV, heavy but sturdy. It would be fine. She pressed the gas pedal lightly, moving forward. The first few feet felt steady enough, the tires splashing through shallow puddles on the wooden surface. The wind howled around her, rattling the bridge's rusted railings. The rain blurred her vision, making it hard to see past the hood of the car. A loud creak echoed beneath her. She froze, her breath catching in her throat. Another groan of wood, then a sharp crack. The car lurched, tilting slightly to the right. Panic surged through her as she pressed harder on the gas, willing the car to move forward. But before she could reach the other side, there was another splintering snap. Time slowed. Lisa barely had time to scream as the bridge gave way beneath her. The front end of the car tipped downward, and in a heart-stopping moment, she felt herself falling. The world flipped. A deafening crash filled her ears as the car slammed into the raging water below. Glass shattered, and icy water surged inside, swallowing her legs in an instant. The force of the impact had left her dazed, her head pounding as she gasped for breath. Cold. Everything was so cold. The water was rising fast, swirling around her waist, her chest. She fumbled with her seatbelt, her fingers trembling. It wouldn't budge. Her breath came in ragged gasps as she yanked at it, her heart hammering against her ribs. Above her, the rain continued to fall, distant and unrelenting. Regret crashed over her, heavier than the water pulling her down. Why hadn't she listened to Daniel? Why had she been so stubborn, so sure she was right? She clawed at the belt, at the door handle, at anything that would free her. The car creaked and shifted, sinking deeper. Water filled her mouth, her lungs burning as she struggled. Somewhere above, muffled by the storm and the rushing river, she thought she heard her name. Daniel's voice, calling for her, her vision blurred. Darkness closed in. Then, nothing.